I'm Kathy Christoph, a co-chair of the Electronic Technology Committee with the UW Retirement Association. And I'm very proud to present today our two presenters that will tell us all about our new UWRA website, all the exciting new changes. First of all, I have Sandy Haas, who is our incoming executive director of the UW Retirement Association and brains behind this new website. And the other part of the brains here is Larry Winkler, who is a developer and, as he calls himself, an IT person, or a nice IT person. And he's been helping a lot make the real thing happen. So,
and
welcome.
And also UWRA member, so I'm just as old as you guys are.
Yeah, okay, member too, great.
Well, thank you, Kathy, and welcome everyone. And I'm going to have to learn to speak a little bit quieter. It's okay? It's still okay? I'm just getting lots of feedback. I'd like to take a few minutes of your time this afternoon to share with you a little background of how we got to where we are today. As many of you know, and as Kathy has said, I am the incoming executive director of the of the UWRA Association. And my challenge last year was to bring this organization into the technology world and into the digital age. With that, I was allowed the opportunity to continue with the research, looking at software, things to help us move into that future and the actual implementation, while Anne, bless her soul, agreed to continue in the role of director and make sure that the day-to-day operations continued and was seamless. So to her wait is almost over. She can almost actually retire as the director, so her time is almost there. One of the things that we did during our research was to look at different software packages and decide what we really wanted. How could we make the operation of this association flow and work a little bit better, a little bit easier using technology. After that research was done, we decided on the product that was developed by Wild Apricot. It met our needs for the size of our association and the features that it had. It definitely was bang for our buck, and that's why the decision was, excuse me, by the board to proceed with that software package. Some of the things that we were looking at as we looked during our evaluation was the member management, a package that would deal with our membership, a package that would help us, or a module that would help us with event registrations, because one of the things that will happen, I cannot be in the office every day. So I'm going to be doing a lot of my work remotely. So we wanted something to be able to help us with that. The other two pieces that we were very interested in was the financial piece, because we wanted to be able to use technology to pay for events, to eliminate some of that check processing and make it a little bit easier. And the special thing that happened was it's all tied together by a website. One of the things about Wild Apricot, it was pretty much out of the box. We tried not to do a lot of tweaking. We tried to do things in the confines of what the software offered. So many of you know, excuse me, that I worked for the Division of Information Technology, is where I ended my career. Which you may or may not know is I balanced and budgeted 17 departmental budgets. I had people that could help me with software. I can make any software dance. How it works, you got to have the experts. One of the things that I was very blessed with during this implementation is the assistance of both Larry Winkler and Barbara Rust. Both come with a knowledge of the product. Barbara has used wild apricot at or with Play-Doh. Play-Doh also uses the same software package, although they have done a lot of tweaking to that and had a consultant help them. Larry and Barbara both worked for Do It. So they came with lots of expertise, and they became my people to help us through this implementation. And because of them, that's why we are here today. I have learned an awful lot during this implementation. There is still lots to learn. So if there are not any initial questions, I'd like to share what's going on. Nobody? Okay. So let's go. This is a new website. Okay. So I know that we sent out several emails, and that's one of the luxuries of this, or features, I should say, of the software package is we can email anyone in our system that is a member or contact, so we can do those email blasts. I know that over 70% of the people that have an email in the system have already looked at this. So I'm going to say 70% of my audience looked at it. Who hasn't had an opportunity yet to look at it? Woo-hoo, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. I mean, our goal today is to make you feel comfortable. Your handout is that tool that will help you look at the screens, see it on paper, and be able to do the items that you want to do, whether it's registering or not. Okay, so I think we should start, Larry? So here it is. It is similar and yet very different from the prior website. You will see the tools are a little bit different. I am currently logged on, so as you will see is, oh yeah, it does work. Hey, that's cool. There's my name up on the top. It has some features as we scroll down. There's a banner, it's called a banner, this orange thing that goes across, to help you as the first step in creating your password, because you will need a password in order to access any of the member-only areas of the website, which currently include the directory, so that your information is only seen by other members of this association. And other items, one of being, some of you may be familiar with a publication that the association did called the Living Ledger. We are in the process at this moment of updating that, and that will be posted in the members only area, which means you need to be sure and log on. And we'll go through those steps in the handout. A couple other features that we had added was the UWRA events, a quick link to the sifters, and then every once in a while, and I'm sure you have all read the sifter, and we occasionally have room to include some of the other organizations that are offering programs. So we have made an area for outside upcoming events. One thing that is new is the executive director's blog. This piece, I've never blogged before, and if somebody can be my mentor through this process, that would be awesome. At this point, this is what I'm going to be using this as, that quick and dirty message out to all of you. So, take a look at blah, blah, blah coming up. Or, and I haven't done it yet, for those that were at the spring luncheon, we had 2 dynamic speakers, and one dealing with Carson Gully and some of the history, his history on campus. I will be posting, I just got the URL to the article that Scott referred to during that luncheon. So I will be posting that. So this is a place where you're going to want to come back to and come back often. Let's go back to the homepage. So in our attempt, we had several focuses that we wanted to do and do quickly. One was bring up our membership directory, event registrations, and the next thing will be the processing of the financial side for paying for dues as well as events. So it's that financial piece all wrapped into the website. A couple other things I want to bring to your attention on the website. There is a search, and I've used it a couple times and it worked, so that's a good thing. And then the asking for feedback, questions, or problems. As anyone knows, bringing up new software, there are always those little hiccups. Those of us that are as administrators, we sometimes don't see it because we have, what's the word, Larry? More authority?
We're godlike. We don't.
Oh. Okay, I'm glad you said that one. So we tried as best we could to alleviate little hiccups, but it all takes time. We tried to move, we haven't moved everything from the old website. The old website will stay intact for a little bit. We will not, however, be updating it. Any updates will be on the new site. So like today, the presentation is being videotaped. That will be on the new website. We tried to move several other things that were from the website, from the old website to the new, to give us an idea of, who are we? What is our mission? And why are we here? We even have a picture of the board of directors. We have a list, that's one thing I know that has been questioned. For example, as you go through the website, you will see that the addresses, the email addresses are no longer hyperlinked. So I can't click on it to send an email. Reason being, and we worded them all that way, for that public facing pages, we did not put email addresses. We are trying to protect your security and your identities as much as we can. It is more unlikely that an email address is trolled automatically. So to prevent that as best we can, we use the word @ a space, the word @ and then the domain. So I know that has been a question that I've gotten several times since it has been publicized to our members. So you'll just have to copy and type. Let me see, what else can I tell you about? Some of our operating procedures, as well as our bylaws. For those of you that don't know, I love bylaws. I love policy. I love procedures. So please go take a look. We have events, and we've tried to give you different ways of looking at the events that the UWRA sponsors, as well as other organizations that we receive information for. So if I went to list of all events, I can scroll down and see any kind of events. Larry has helped us in some cases for like the spring primary, just that reminder, go out and vote. From this page, you will also see, and you'll hear that in a little bit. So if you look at Remembering the Holocaust, from this page in this listing, I can register for an event. If I am registered, it's going to tell me already registered. But there's a whole list of events, and these are all the UW events. So if you take that and you do a piece, you can look at, let's look at all events this way, and this brings up a calendar. So events are color-coded, so we try to include all of the committee meetings, the social meetings like the breakfast at Sofa or at Ollie's on the east side, our programs, and for our last March lunch, and here we are today. If I click on any of the items in the calendar, it will go to the event page with all the detail. And then again, allow me to register if I had not been registered. At this point, we are pretty much duplicating what's in the sifter, and that is up for discussion yet. We may condense that information just a little bit. But everything that you have in the sifter will be here, at least at the moment. Questions so far? Yes?
Will the sifter continue?
Yes? Where, you up there? Yes, the sifter will continue as it stands right now. If you have elected to receive the sifter, you will continue to receive the sifter. But please be aware that the sifter, the paper copy of the sifter will arrive 7 to 10 days after the electronic version of the sifter is published. So it has been in the past practice that the sifter, when the sifter is ready to be distributed, we have the electronic copy. The electronic copy goes to those members that have elected to receive the sifter electronically. Those receiving paper receive it 7 to 10 days later after we get it back from the printer. The new process, because of the features of Wild Apricot, we are able to email any and every member that has given us an email a notice. The sifter is there, go out and look. So in the past, you've only been able to have paper or electronic. So now you're going to have, everybody's going to have electronic that has given me an email. If you elected for paper, you're going to get that too. So a little bit different, but we wanted to get that information out to our membership as quickly as we can. We shouldn't penalize those people that have elected to do it in paper to have to wait to paper. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so if I go to membership, because I am logged in, there are two pieces, one being the directory and one being the member guide. And if I click on member guide, this is a place where we are trying to put the information to help you with the process of what we're calling bundling our membership, and I'll explain that in just a minute, and how to do that, electing for sifter delivery, and then giving you some ideas of different things to look at in the website. One of the things that's different with Wild Apricot, or this software package, I should say, is the way we look at a household membership. In the old system, and I hate doing old and new, but I don't know what other terms to use. In the prior system, there was an access database, it was used, and it did a household membership, for lack of better terms, and I'm going to use my husband and I. So in the access database, it said Sandy and Brent Haas. In the new system, it's going to say Sandy Haas as one record and Brent Haas as a second, although we are tied together by what is called a bundle. So if I provided an email for Brent, any email that the system sends out, Brent will get directly. So if I don't have to then remember to either forward an email to him about a program, or worry about registering him if I'm not available. He can do that himself. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility. So my encouragement to all of you, if you have a spouse or your partner would like to receive that information, please bundle your membership, and we'll go through how to do that in a little bit. Okay, so the other item is the directory. Again, only other members can see this. So what it affords us to do is give us basic information about our membership. It gives me a name, an email address if there is one, and as you can see, I don't have an email for Carrie, but I do for Elton. I can search in, this directory by name, by email, and it doesn't have to be last name, it can be first name. So let me see. Oh, I know this is a popular name. Do you have to spell right? Well, you don't have, it's not case sensitive, but I mean, you can, all right. So it will come up with anything with a KAT. So if you're not really quite sure of that spelling, thanks, Arden, that's a good point. Or if I wanted to do, I'm trying to think of an email and not mine. I'm sorry? Whoops, it helps if I type. And period. So as I was typing, it started coming up. So it's pretty slick that way, and an easy way to find folks. Again, because this is behind the curtain, for a better lack of terms, in that member-only area, you will notice that these are linkable emails. We have some other resources. And here is the initial landing page. It talks about the Living Ledger being a PDF version, which it will be ultimately as soon as we get it up and running, as well as the Guide to Emeritus Status. So that's linked to a PDF behind the scenes, because that is a piece that we have in the past been asked about. As I continue looking on resources, You will see that we have loaded the presentations to date. We've loaded 3 years worth of those presentations. They are segregated by fiscal year. Format's a little bit different than what we had in the old one, but all the information is there, and we are very appreciative that Frank continues to serve as our videographer and helps us with that piece so that we can reach all of our members. So as things go along, if there is a handout or copies of the slides, there will be a link to those. So once today's presentation is uploaded, you will see the actual presentation as well as a copy of the handout that you all received. As I continue down that list, I know that this has been a question, and although you can't do it yet, the living ledger that we are revising at the moment will be a document. It is set up as a Word document, but for electronic entry. So what will happen, it will, all right, let's just try this, see if we can get that far. So it says, and here again, this is a benefit of UWRA membership. So it says that to launch a Word version of that document, if I do, it's asking me if I should save it and where to save it as, or if I open it. If I open it, basically what it's doing, and my fear the first time that I saw this was, okay, come on, baby. There we go. So this is just the cover at the moment because it's not ready to be released. But what will happen is a Word document, a Word copy of that living ledger will appear. You can fill it out online if you wish. You can then print that document. It does not stay in our system. It does not stay anywhere. You can load it onto yours. You can download it to your computer, or you can print it and fill it out by hand. But my fear initially was, oh my, the system is going to see it. The system will not see it. So I just want to reassure you that it's okay if you choose to fill it out online. I know it's confusing, and there will be a blog about it once when we get to the part of actually having it published. Okay, now let me see if I can get, there you go. The other thing that we have done is the sifters. 3 years of the sifters are currently posted. On that page, the Electronic Technology Committee had done some investigation and made a list of some of the articles in the last 3 years that are connected to tech tips. And we wanted to be able to share that information with all of you in case, I remember reading something about, I don't know, decluttering. Where was that? So what we were trying to do is use the information that they provided and make it easier for you. We have also made those hot links so that if you click on any of them, the actual, and I will see if I can get it to work. Ooh, good network. The sifter itself that article was published in comes up, making it easier for you to find information that has been published by the association. Yes, ma'am. It's off of resources, sifter. So when you land on where my little cursor is here, this is what they call a landing page, another terminology. I didn't know what that was a few months ago. So it's just that basic information, and then it provides that link to the sifters as well as to the articles. I can also get to the sifters by just coming to that page and looking in the current year. So if I did that, the list comes up of the sifters that for this fiscal year.
So are those searchable? Could I have said search for decluttering?
Well, I don't know. Let's try. Oh, too bad I can't spell. Oh, but there it came up. So, you know, I mean, it may not be as robust, but at least it's coming up. So, and how they made it work, how my people made it work, I have no idea, but it works. It's magic. Isn't that what technology is? Magic? Okay, let's see what else. The join and renew, and we're going to be going into that in a few minutes through all the screenshots. But what we did was set up a listing, a table of the level of membership, the cost, what you get for your bang for your buck, and whether or not how you receive the sifter based on your level of membership. So there are certain memberships, for example, the out-of-town bargain, and those not yet retired only receive an electronic copy of the sifter. And how you want your sifter depends upon your level of membership. So it kind of works backwards. So if somebody was, even if they were, I got to think of an example how I can do this. If they choose to pay $10, they only get it electronically. But if that member, even if they are out of that zip code area, wants that sifter in paper, they have to pay $20. So it kind of works backwards. This landing page also has links, and we'll see those in a few minutes, to join, to renew, and payment options. Other questions? Yes, ma'am. Kathy, would you? Hang on.
Is there an option for looking at your account history with the UWRA? Like when you joined, when you last renewed, that sort of thing?
Thank you, Joan. Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear all of it. Can you say it again? I'm trying to.
What is can you go in and look at your account history? Can I go in and look at my account history as to when I joined UWRA, when I last paid, which of those memberships I am in?
We can. And I will use myself as an example, okay? So if I go into my name, as you saw, it takes me to my profile. And here's what it says on my profile to you. This is what's on the public side. So it tells me that I'm a life member. My email, my contact information, that I was university staff, I was classified civil service. I worked for DeWitt and the year retired. It also asked me some information about volunteering, where my committee interest is or where I am serving, and that I am linked to Brent, for better or for worse, for 46 years, and his contact information. So, however, if I go to, why can't I see this, Larry? Where's my edit? Where's my edit? Why am I not seeing my edit? Am I in the wrong place? Do I have to go into my admin? No. You want to see Waldo?
Yeah, Waldo's okay. He doesn't have much to say.
Okay.
That's my normal user.
You want this?
Sandy, are you logged in as yourself?
Yes, she is.
And maybe that, and I'm also on the admin side.
If you're on the admin, you probably can't edit yourself.
You should be able, if it's your profile, you should always be able
let's just go into
to edit your, you will be able to edit your profile. And some of the information that we loaded up, for example, when you joined RA, a lot of people didn't have any information in those fields that were maintained on a spreadsheet or maybe in Access. And for all those people, you probably have a since date of December 17th, 2017, because that's when I loaded the database in. So here we're into the administrative side of things that we spend a lot of our time in. See a lot, so we can then do a search. Okay, back up here.
Oh, just on here.
Yeah. All right, get into Sandy's. And now we have some information. By the way, it's pretty cool, although it's almost useless maybe, is this, you have your own little card that if you actually want to print it out, you can then carry it with you, like as a tag or something. So we have information here, so active. In this case, I think this is probably wrong too. Remember since 2015. Sandy,
It's true.
It is?
Well, actually, it is 3 years ago today
That you became a member?
that I retired.
Oh, okay. Well, this is member
I could
since.
only do June when I edited.
Oh, okay. We'll
Initially,
update.
anyway.
So we can change that because,
But why don't you go to edit so that it can see?
okay. So let's edit this feed. I'm not used to using a mouse. Okay, go ahead.
No.
Well, we're
This
making
is
a change to.
This is what it's going to look like if you edit your own. You're going to end up with fields.
Yeah, you'll end up with fields because you can always edit almost everything within your profile. And some of the things you... Okay, so let's... Can I log off of here? So.
Yeah.
Like this, like they're going to swallow it.
Okay, so I'm going to log in as my fake account here, if that's okay. That's the home page we're on right now. Yeah, because it's UWRA wildapricot.org. Now what is happening here, I've done some research on this. I'll tell you different things that have happened. In some places, we say HTTP without the S, and then if you type in OWRA.wildapricot, this pops up automatically. It will get you to Wild Apricot, and if you dim here, you can see that it's S. The reason it's S is everything, all your communications with the website are secure. Nobody can get in, there's no hacking in the middle, so everything you see, only you can see, and nobody in the middle can see it. I think that what has been happening, for example, is in some cases, people have not completely given a legal, the full name, and if you hit this, it actually comes up to the wildapricot.com, their main site, right? And so that, I think a number of people have done something and their browser has gone to the wrong place. It's gone to the Wild Apricot platform site, not to any of the member sites. Does that look familiar to you all?
Can you use the microphone so that it can be recorded?
I copied it right off the sifter and it still went here.
We'll have to look at the sifter. I think what I talked to Sandy about is when we put it in the sifter from here on, it's going to be the full name. So if you do highlight it and can't click on it directly, it will then take you to the right place. Otherwise, it could go off into Netherlands. The standard idea, there's a lot of functionality within the internet itself. Most of the time, it can resolve the names of the organizations in the URL appropriately. Sometimes it can't, and then it gets you to places you're not expecting. And I think that's what happens to a lot of people. Yeah.
On the sifter, it does not have the Gail, can you just wait till we get the microphone, please?
S on this, it does not have the S on the sifter masthead.
She's confirming there's no S.
Correct. If you use it, it still should work. Because there's a forwarding process, but it doesn't work. Well, we'll correct it on the copy. And if it still doesn't work, if you highlight it, well, once you start typing UWRA Wild Apricot in, your browser will remember that like forever. So once you get it right, it'll automatically pop up for you most of the time. So the question was, there are times, okay, all right, thanks.
I'm still back at where you were trying to edit your profile.
Yeah, that's a good place to go back.
Thank you.
And if I can find out how to get back from here.
Well, just do another, woo!
All right. So are we in the right place here? Well,
yeah, no
I think we are. No name. So I'm going to type in, this is a fake person with my email address, one of my email addresses. I've got about 5 of them. I'm going to log in. And by the way, your browser will probably remember this forever also.
Gee, thanks, Larry.
So I'm in,
Why don't you close that one?
what's this? Would you like to save your password? No, let's not do that. So I owe $5. So my profile, edit my profile. So I hit edit my profile up here. And I should be able to get access to my alternate ego here. Yes?
One step and show us where you click edit my profile.
All right. Let's go log out again. I'm logging in. Oh, yes.
People are complaining they can't read the small print.
All right, so let me get my password in here. Well, I wouldn't want you to read my password anyway. So anyway, I'll do a remember me so it remembers me. Is it clicked? Log in at the bottom. Now this is the page it comes to automatically, and then there's my directory profile, and here's my edit profile. The directory profile, by the way, is you have control over the information we have in your contacts and your membership so that you can hide that information from everybody, including the public, including members. So you may not want your phone number available, you may not want your middle name available for people to see, any of those things. So you can edit your profile to hide for privacy purposes. So I hit edit, which was a link on that page for profile. Now I'm looking at bundle summary, and there's when I was talking to you about privacy, there's this link to go to your privacy, and then you can turn on and off particular fields that allow people to see it or not to see information about you. And this particular person's Waldo Bushman. I came up with Waldo Bushman and Nancy Henshaw were names my sister and I gave each other when we were 6 years old. And we had Mr. and Mrs. Steele because at that time they were our enemies, and we couldn't think of anybody worse than people who stole, so we called them Mr. and Mrs. Steele. Anyway, so here's my information here, or this particular person's information.
Okay, so part of it that we really want to gain some demographics about our organization. Not all of this information was in the old Access database, and we would like to find out who all of you are. Where did you come from? What is your expertise? What are your interests, so that we can better serve you as an association in the future. So, thank you. So we really encourage you to go out to your membership profile and update that information so that we know who you are and what we can do to help make this organization better and bigger, if that makes sense.
So we have...
So a couple of things that we have on there is classification. So were you academic staff? Were you faculty? Were you classified civil service, or now that's called university service? Verify how you want your sifter to come. Maybe you decide you've always gotten it in paper, and now, oh heck, I really do like it just on electronic. I'm going to switch it. This is where you would switch that information. It also asks where your department that you retired from and the year that you retired. Again, trying to give us some demographics about the organization. There's 2 free form blocks for areas of your expertise and interests. And then Larry's come up with a list of different things that people have in the past shared that they enjoy or that they have an interest in. And who knows, maybe we'll do little study groups on various topics. If someone referred you to the organization, we would like to be able to thank them. So that's a record for us of who's been a real promoter of the organization, as well as some interest on some of our committees. Our committees are looking for help. We need some new people. So if you've got a little bit of time, I suggest that you click an interest, go out to the committee page. You can find out what their focus is and, excuse me, how often they meet, so that you can say, oh yeah, I want to be part of that retirement issues or retirement challenges committee. Also, if you're interested in speaking on a topic, you have an expertise in an area, we'd love to have you. We're always looking for speakers. Assistance both for the office as well as the website is always welcome. Again, some volunteer suggestions and some information if you would like to help with the sifter and that publication. The thing that you have to remember is save after you've edited, because otherwise it goes away. Does that help? Yes?
Sandy, an easy way to answer this question in the back about her checking on her membership. When I went into my page this morning, it says years, or it says year joined or something like that. But more importantly, I think what she's driving at is, do I owe dues right now? Is there a place on there that anybody can go and it says my membership expires in 2018? I think that's what she was driving at.
Yeah, so I think it says renewal due on, in this particular case, July 1st, 2018 for this fake user. Right. And so if you happen to be an annual, it'll give you 1 year in advance, and if you're a bargain, it's 6 years, right? So it'll give you a date, 2023 or something like this. The only one that's potentially confusing for your life members is we have to have a date there, and so the date is set at the year 2100. So I think that's probably good enough for most of us.
The other thing in regards to the year of renewal, if you will notice on the emails that you receive, those are things that we are including as standard in those emails. It will say when your dues are due. It will say whether you are an annual member, for example, and it's due in 2018, or you're a bargain and it's due in 2023.
I think we need to clarify this membership information. Is that private to only other members? Because people get a hold of stuff and you get all these phone calls, especially the voting lists. Now, is that private to only members?
The member directory is private from the public. Only members can see it, and then you can restrict it more yourself.
Okay, to get away from like unlisted phone numbers and other things.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
We were very adamant that we had to have it secure. We wanted to protect your identities throughout the thing. Yes, Kathy?
One of our members that had to leave for another obligation asked, does she have to sign up for events through this system, or are there other ways to do it?
There are other ways. We will continue to receive. You're welcome to call the office and register that way or via email. We are not mandating that, this is.
Because I was setting up the events, I had to invent something. What should the details on the description of an event look like? And so I just came up with mine, and you're certainly free to set your own standards for this, but this is the way I set it up. A bit of a title, and then right up front, date, time, where, registration information right up front, and then the more descriptive text of what's going on. But at the end, too, I tried to make it more general here, more information, and to register by phone or email right at the bottom of, this is sort of the standard I came up with. The bottom of every description is how you communicate to the organization when you don't want to use this system, or if you have certain kinds of questions. And so at the bottom, this is standard that I tried to put into all the event descriptions. That should be, hopefully that will be sufficient for most of you, just that give you the information you want. Because we don't really expect everyone to be completely comfortable with the digital age here.
What will happen is you will, however, receive a confirmation from the system, because I will manually enter your name into as a registrant for an event. So you will receive your confirmation from Wild Apricot or from the new software, as well as the reminders, just as you received today, of the reminder of this session.
This is a question about membership. This is a question about membership and where did we come from. How do you handle something like your husband was a UW employee, then transferred to the system? I joined when he retired. I'm also a Wisconsin state employee, but not at the university. My husband has passed away. How do you handle something like that for the history?
Your membership, as a surviving spouse of a university staff member, you are automatically remain a member. We may change you to associate, but that is no different than an annual. I mean,
You get the same rights.
If I happen to know that, if I don't know that, and you and your husband shared an annual membership, you will remain an annual membership, and you will become primary in that bundle. So I think we're down to one mic,
Question.
Sure,
Sandy.
Jean.
All right, the last screen you had up, you talked about, or he talked about having that contact information down at the bottom if you wanted to go by email or by phone. Will that also be in the sifter, the paper copy of the sifter?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
So let's take a 10-minute break, and we can figure out what's going on with our microphones. And we'll be back, and then we'll go through how to do some of this stuff. Thank you. So what I'd like to do now is go through your handout, show you a little bit about the screens that you will see as you log on and create your password, as well as bundling, how to pay your dues, how to register for an event with or without a charge. I was an art major in college, so I like visuals. I'm a visual learner, so that's why you have lots of pictures. So here we go on a little bit of a tour. As Larry said, at least to always try and use HTTPS in the URL. And you saw on live screen what that looked like. So, well, we're going to do really basic. So those of you that have done this already, this is a repeat. For those of you that have not done this, this is your education of what you need to do. So you will go to the home page, to the URL, and you will click on, as the arrow indicates, create password. It will take you to a screen that looks like this. It has some very specific directions here of what you need to do. But basically what you need to do is enter your email, unscramble the code, and that code has a name, but I just used funky code. If you can't see it, it does have that ability that you can click in and it will appear what it really is. So if you can't make it out, or you can ask for another one. Once you unscramble that code, you click submit. The next screen that you see will give you a notice, as indicated in the blue strip grade on your handout. The password reset instructions were sent to your email. So you need to go to your email, and what you will see, there's a copy of what your email will look like. There will be a link in there, and what you need to do is just click on that link, and when you do, the system will open another window. That window will ask you for your new password, and then you need to confirm it. Then click on Set New Password. The system will then appear another window, And it says that the system has successfully changed your logon and password. And it says click home. So if you click the link that says home, you go back to the home page. You enter your email in the top, just as Larry did before. Up on the top, you enter your email. You enter the password that you just set. You can choose, if it's your regular computer, to remember me, and then click on login. You'll know that you are logged in because on the next screen that opens, your name will appear in the upper right-hand corner. It is our suggestion that you then go to View Profile. And you can do that in two places. The software is really good about having different, sometimes more than one spot where you can look at your profile. So, yeah. So I can look at profile here, or I can click on this hot link here. Either way will take you to the same spot. So what you need to do when you click on profile, this way, it's going to open that page, and this addresses that question that we had earlier about where do I do it. So here's where you do it. And again, our suggestion is to click on Edit Profile, then update the information, adding information about your spouse or partner, your interests, the year you retired, from what department, and what your classification is. You can also enter your interests and expertise that you are willing to share with us. For adding, for adding bundle information, the arrow is pointing to, in my case, the screenshot that I used, Brent was already entered as part of my bundle, but had there been no name, there's a block that says Add Member. So this is where you would click on that and add the information about your spouse or partner that shares your membership. When you are finished updating that profile and bundle, and you go back to your profile page, as you can see up on the top, you can then look at other things about you. You can look at if you want to change some of your privacy wishes. If you want to look at your event registrations. And that's what I clicked on this screenshot. So it shows that I am registered for not only today, but for Remembering the Holocaust presentation a couple weeks from now. Yes, the question.
When you set up this account, you're only setting up via the primary member, right?
That is correct. Although you, as a primary member, would enter the name of your spouse or partner, but this screen that is showing here is only me.
If your information was already in the database that was kept by Ann, I guess you were keeping that, I loaded the whole thing in there, and when there were two names, I created a bundle automatically, and so you would be automatically in there. This is for new people primarily, and then they have a spouse, and then they would have to go through that process. But at this time, everybody who is a member and has a spouse, and it should be already in there in the database.
But we can look at that after the session, particularly.
I think what he's asking is, how do you edit the bundle partner? I managed to get mine, but it took a while to find where to get up the bundle partner to be able to edit the bundle partner's profile. I think that's what he was asking.
And then how do you tell if the spouse or the person on the bundle is registered? Does that registration come up under their name or your own?
It depends upon how you registered. I can register for an event as me and a guest. and my guest is Brent. I can register me for an event. Brent can go on and register himself for the event. So there's two different ways of looking at that. In regards to the question of the bundle, some of it we can look at after this session, so it's a little bit offline. But on this screen, when your bundle summary page comes up, if we did not have a second name in the old system, that may be blank. And I'm going to use Kathy as an example because I don't think your husband is in. So when Kathy opens her profile, looks at her bundle, she will not have a name for that bundle. What she would then do is go to, click on Add Member, and then fill out that information. So a little of that, we can do that offline, if that helps, at least temporarily, and we'll talk about it offline, unless there are a lot of other people that are having that same issue, because we can talk about that. Yes, Gail?
If I can interpret, I think he was asking that he is a bundled person, but he can register for an event himself. He does not have to go through his spouse.
If registration will need your email in the system in order to register. If I have 2 emails, each individual can register. If I only have one, if only my email was in the system.
So he has an email, so he can register himself.
If it is in the system.
His spouse, who is the employee.
Right, but we can do that offline. We'll verify that offline. Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Okay, so I'm looking at my page. These are the events that I'm registered for. If I want to see more information about it, I click on the blue link to go to the event. And this is what I would see. It takes me directly to the event. Gives me the particulars of the meeting, as well as all the details. If I wanted to, this page would also, in this case, I am registered. It tells me I'm already registered. If I wasn't registered, I would click on the register button and register for that event. What will happen is a new screen will open. It gives you the particulars of that event. It pre-populates your email. And what you do is you click Next. It then opens another registration window, auto-fills your information from the system that we have gathered. If you are bringing a guest, whether it is your spouse or partner or a non-related person that doesn't share your membership, what you would do is you would click on Add Guest. You know, as it says here, Add Guest. What opens is a window that is similar. When I click on Next, it will open a window that is similar to what you see right here. And you will populate the name and the same information about that individual. What you will see, if you do that more than once, the system knows that knows that I put in Brent Haas. As soon as I start typing the letter B, it automatically pops up Brent's name. So the system helps you register. No guest, you hit Next. Here's a picture of the screen for the guest. When I'm all done, I would click Done. It then comes up with a confirmation. It says, I'm registered, here's my information, here's my guest and my guest's information. I say, yep, that's exactly what I want. I don't have any further guests. This is where you would add another guest if you had one. You click next. There's lots of double checks here along the way if you haven't noticed. Yep, this is exactly this is my final review and my confirmation. Yep, everything looks absolutely perfect. I click confirm. From that confirmation page, your confirmation receipt appears. You can add it to your calendar if you want, and if you don't have to. What will also happen with this confirmation, you will receive an email that says, hello, Sandy. You are registered for, gives me the details, gives me a link to that event page, tells me my registration details and my contact information. And if I want to go back to that registration detail, I would click the link on the bottom saying register details. So it would loop you back, as it says here, to the page. The next few slides deal with registering for a program and an event with a fee. Again, very similar to what we just went through, so I'm going to go kind of quickly through this. So from that event notice, you click on register. When you do that, again, it pre-populates the email that because you are logged on, you hit next. It pre-populates your information. And in this case, this event is one of the luncheons. So you make your menu choice at this point. If there are any special dietary needs, please include that so that the luncheon committee can get you the meal that you need with the nutrition that you need. If you have a guest, there's a button to add guest. If no guest, you click on next in the bottom right-hand corner. It then comes up with a review and confirm screen again, saying you registered for this luncheon. The cost is $17. And at this point is where you have your choice. You can register, you can pay for that lunch online, or you can choose to pay by check that is mailed to the office. So to pay online, that's the button you would click. If you wanted to pay by check, you would click invoice me. What will come up then if you are paying by credit card will be this window of PayPal. You can choose to pay via PayPal or pay by your debit or credit card. If you would have chosen to invoice me, an invoice as displayed here would appear. The system also sends you an email with the invoice. The system also gives you the opportunity that, maybe you decided, I'll just pay online and be done with it. The system affords you that possibility. This is a copy of what the email looks like. It said at this point that your event registration is awaiting payment, and then in a separate email, we'll send you an invoice. So what you need to do at that point is print out that invoice, write a check to UWRA, and mail it to the office. Again, when we process those payments for events, you will get an email confirmation. One of the things that you will see, and it was a couple screens ago, and I'm sorry I forgot to show that. If you are away, if you decided to pay by check, and look in your screen until that check is recognized in the office, you will have a small blue little message down in this corner of your wild apricot or your event saying payment pending. Once that is put on the books, that will go away. So it's just a reminder that the check hasn't been cashed yet or hasn't been deposited. So if you're paying by check and invoice, print it out and you're done with that process, and you will receive a confirmation from the system. So the new part, the next few screens have to do with how to renew, because we're going to be approaching that renewal system, that renewal process for our membership this year. In the May Sifter, we will be having a reminder of the process. And we will be opening up membership 2nd of May, correct? So the system is really cool because I can set pre-dates. So I can say, open up this event or open up membership renewal on such and such a date. So on May 2nd, we will open up that renewal process. Oh, Larry says that it is now set for 120 days prior to our fiscal year starting in July 1. So I guess you can renew online now. So here's how you do it. So you go to back to the home page to join Renew. If you click on that, a landing page will come up. It will give you again the options of the levels of membership, and will give you 3 options. You can renew online and pay online. You can renew online and pay by check, or you can print the membership application renewal form and mail in your check. I encourage you, even if you are writing a check, to try and renew online. It will make the time spent by yours truly to hand enter information much easier. So checks are more than welcome. So we're not changing that process. So screens are divided now into those 3 options. So the first is renew online and pay online. So there is a link, and that's where the arrow is. You would click on that link. A screen opens up, and it opens to your profile page. And you have 2 options on that page. One is to change your membership, if you want to change the level of your membership. You also have the choice to just directly go and renew. So the first one is change. So if you're an annual member and you say, I don't want to be bothered with this every year, I'm going to change to a bargain membership. This is where you would do that. Your ultimate invoices or your charge would adjust accordingly to whatever level of membership you chose. The system also will be sending reminders that dues are due if your dues are due July 1 of 2018. If your dues are due July 1 of 2019 or 2023, depending upon the level of your membership, you will not be receiving a reminder. Otherwise, you will be all receiving a reminder that your dues are due if they are due on July 1st. So the system is automatically keyed to do those renewal notices. Your next screen will show, if you make no change, it will show you the information about this is you. It pre-populates that information. If there are changes, take a moment, look at your profile, make sure that everything is up to date. Maybe you changed your email from wis.edu to Gmail. So make sure that we have the most accurate information, because if we don't, we won't be able to communicate with you. It opens one final review and confirmation page. And here is where your choice is. And in this example, we're using online. But here's where your choices are again. That final chance to either invoice me or to pay online. If you choose to pay online, a window will open, a payment window will open. You can select your payment option. And upon payment processing, you will receive an acknowledgement with instructions, a letter that says, thank you for renewing. And here are a couple links that you need to go and check and make sure that everything is okay. So if we go to the renew online, but pay by invoice with a check, you will be taken to this screen. This will give you your options in a little bit different format. What you would do is you would select your option and then hit next. Again, it opens with a pre-populated form. Scroll down, make sure that, for accuracy, that it is up to date. Everything is cool. Click update and next. Brings up a confirmation page for your final review, and this is where you would select again to pay online or to pay invoice me. And again, we're doing the invoice me. What will happen is a screen will appear. The top arrow is showing, you can review or pay invoice. Oh, and here's the note. So if for example, you were doing your lunch, you did your lunch and you decided to pay by check, and now you're doing your membership renewal, it will say what balance is due. So if you had an outstanding balance, once that is paid and in the process, has been processed, that will go away. So what will happen, just as the event screens, you will receive an invoice. This is what it looks like. Again, you can change your mind and pay by invoice should you want. If that happens, you would be taken to the payment screen. And a little bit about the logon, the message on the bottom. Here's the copy of the email. Again, here's your invoice. Print it, write your check, mail it to the office. And the final option that you have, and it's no different than what we've done in the past, is you can renew with a mail-in printed member application and renewal form with a check. So this will be included in the sifter. The format is a little bit different, but what you would do from that, either from the sifter or from the website, you can choose the renewal form mailing in with a check. If you click on that link as indicated where the arrow is, the form will appear. It is a little bit different format, again, so that individuals clearly see what their benefit is of how they will receive their sifter. Minimal information, because what we would like you to do is as your renewal letter will say, is go to the website, go to your profile, and update as necessary. So we tried to keep that form, and it has gone through several iterations, to the bare minimum of what we need. We need your contact information. We need the dues level that you would like to subscribe to, as well as how you want to receive your sifter. I urge you to print very carefully, because we will be hand reading those, and it's a little bit easier if you print legibly for yours truly. And with that, that's what I know. I know it's a lot of information. Hopefully the handouts will be helpful. I know that we have some questions, and I see people going to the microphones now. Okay.
Does Wild Apricot charge for using your credit card, even if you are not charging the members?
Wild Apricot does not. However, anytime you use a credit card, there is a charge. So we, the organization, the association, will pay that fee.
It's 2 to 4%.
2.9% plus 30 cents.
Depending on which card you use.
Right. PayPal will be charging us 2.9% plus 30 cents. Your dues will cover whether you receive it postage, or whether you receive it hard copy or electronically, because we do have to pay for the software. We do have to pay for the software.
Regarding the payment for the software, it's a, there's a monthly subscription fee, is that correct, for Wild Apricot? Or is it a one-time purchase? Is there a startup fee, or how is that covered, that cost?
The fee, the software was purchased, we purchased it annually because we received a 10% discount.
Okay.
By paying annually rather than paying monthly.
So was there a startup fee or anything like that?
No.
Like not an initial subscription fee or anything?
There are several other software products that we did look at that had a startup fee and a substantial amount for their software to do the same thing that we're doing here, and we got bang for our buck. So we tried to be as cost efficient and careful with your money. I mean, your money is no different than my money. So I truly believe that we made the best decision, and we'll go from there. What happens in the future, I don't know. Yes, Ann?
I heard Wendy's question a little differently. I thought she was asking if there is an annual fee to Wild Apricot, and my understanding is yes, there is. We paid the fee for the first year, we will pay again. Was that your question?
Right, that I think I said that. There is an annual fee. It is based on the number of contacts that we have in the system. So everyone is a contact. That individual can have a classification as member. We pay on the number of contacts. As we have imported the names, everyone is a contact and everyone is a member. But we pay on the number of contacts. Should we exceed the number of contacts for the package that we bought, our price is going to go up. But at this point, we're doing the best we can.
The data is stored on their computer, is that right?
That is correct. Right? Here. Oh, I got to come close.
Yeah, Wild Apricot stores all of their features on Amazon's web services, so it's on the Amazon cloud.
I noticed on under the bundle summary, they show a user ID. Do we have to remember that?
No, the user ID is an automatic numbering system. As we put individuals into our database, the system automatically, you don't have to remember that. And you can't change it anyway. Other questions?
Sandy, I was wondering, you put the sifters up on, with a hyperlink that we can get to. How long after this month's sifter is published will that be available?
Because of the way that we are doing it, as soon as that information, as soon as the sifter is published electronically and goes to the printer, and that email that you receive, the sifter is posted, which is a change from the past, but that was the fastest way we could get the information out to you, using the system to automatically, as soon as that's published, that's when the email goes out to all of you and saying, woohoo, it's out there, come and register.
You're going to keep it for 3 years?
At this point, that was the initial recommendation, is to keep 3 years. What we were trying to do is, we were trying to get the membership up, we were trying to get the most current information out there as quickly as we did. Again, for the hours, Larry's been tracking the hours, just the weekly meetings that we have, irregardless of all the time that he has spent behind the scenes, or my time, let's put it, putting the presentation together today. That's not even close to the work that has been done. And we have done this, which I think is phenomenal, in, what is it? So this is 4.5 months we've put this together. So I think it's kudos to Larry and
kudos to all of
to
you.
Barbara.
Everyone who participated on this is a mammoth undertaking. If any of you have worked with organizations like this and putting the website together and all the intricacies, you guys have done an incredible job.
Thank you. It's been our pleasure. Other questions?
Can you change your mind and cancel that registration?
You bet.
And we can do that, or does it have to go through you?
You can do that. Larry, you want to walk them through that?
Assuming that we've set the parameters up for events correctly, and sometimes we miss, the idea is, unless there's a policy decided for particular events by the board or the committee or whoever's setting it up, at this stage I've set by default you can cancel even on the day of the event. There may be other things like tours or things like this that policy will decide otherwise, and that also doesn't include the decisions are whether you get refunds and that kind of stuff. That's outside of the Wild Apricot system. That's something that the board and everybody else needs to decide, but it's not part of the Apricot side, website side.
You guys willing to stay around for some questions after?
Sure.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there an icon we can put on our desktop to automatically go to the UWRA site?
The question is there some way to get a link so that you can automatically go there? One of the, I don't know what your browser is, but normally the browser, once you've gone there a few times, your browser will probably find it immediately. If you just type UWRA, it will pop up with the correct URL to get there. So I think that you probably don't need a link because your browser will remember.
So it looks like we've come to a bit of a logical conclusion here. So I want to thank Sandy and Larry again for coming, doing the presentation. Thank you.
Pleasure.
And they have agreed to stay around for a few questions, especially those specific ones that were mentioned a bit earlier. Thank you.